of the legislation on medical assistance in dying from a disability perspective, close quote. Well, from a disability perspective, that plea fell on deaf ears on the part of the Attorney General in terms of his failure to appeal the Truchon decision. Now, in light of what a significant change this legislation means, it is unfortunate that it has come to this, because appealing the decision would have allowed for time. It would have allowed time for Parliament to take into consideration the significant complexities associated with this change a mere 4 years after Parliament had legislated a comprehensive regime, and it would have provided clarity in terms of informing Parliament about the scope of the framework upon which Parliament can legislate. But instead of taking the appropriate time to ensure that any legislative change respects the Charter, because respecting the Charter, including life, means protecting vulnerable persons, that instead we are here with a profoundly significant piece of legislation being rushed. Rushed in the face of the expiration of the stay on the declaration of constitutional invalidity effective this December. And while the Attorney General and the government emphasized the Truchon decision, it must be noted that this legislation goes well beyond the scope of Truchon. It removes important safeguards, including the 10-day reflection period. It removes the requirement that there be 2 witnesses to confirm that a person made the request on their own free will and that that request reflected their true consent. It provides for a complex advanced consent regime, one of the most complex areas when it comes to medical assistance in dying policy. And it does all of this preempting what Parliament had determined and called upon and legislated in Bill C-14, namely a legislative review that was supposed to take place this spring, but isn't going ahead, and instead we are in this rushed process. Instead of what could have been, and what could have been was an opportunity for members of Parliament to come together, to hear from expert witnesses, to review the state of the law, to give consideration to the comprehensive reports of the Council of Canadian Academies, and to have received the diverse feedback on all of these issues. It need not have been this way. It shouldn't have been this way, and it is regrettable that this government has so recklessly put us in this position by rushing through legislation that arguably could put vulnerable Canadians at risk.
These people are crazy. This is going to be a disaster.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I agree in terms of just the importance of the legislation and the issue at hand. I think that the intent was from the government back in February was to ensure that there was going to be a lot more debate and the opportunity for us to further explore the matter at hand. No one anticipated what was going to happen with the coronavirus, and that has changed all aspects of our society. The legislation which is before us is because there is a court that is obligating us to move as quick as we need to move on it. My question to the member is, would he not agree that in many ways, during that first debate we had years ago on the legislation, that there is opportunity still for us to have that critical input? And my question to the member is, does he foresee or does he have amendments that he would like himself?